Ladies and gentlemen, today is not just another day. Today is a turning point. Today we stop making excuses. Today we take back our power. Because life will give you every reason to stay down, but you must decide I will rise. Some of you have been through storms. You've cried yourself to sleep. You've faced disappointment, betrayal, and hardship, and life whispered, give up. But I came to tell you, no, that's not your story. That's not your destiny. Excuses are chains, and if you let them, they will bind you to mediocrity. But you were not built to be average. You were not created to sit on the sidelines of your own life. You have a purpose, a calling, a destiny to fulfill. Stop blaming the past. Stop waiting for the perfect time. The perfect time is now. The perfect person to fix your life is you. God has already put inside of you everything you need to win. But you have to activate it. So today, shake off the doubt. Break the chains of excuses. Stand up and declare, this is my season, this is my time, this is my comeback. Get up and rebuild your life. No excuses, no delays, no surrender. Excuses are chains. They are not just words. They are not just reasons. They are shackles designed to keep you trapped where you are, locked in a cycle of stagnation and mediocrity. Excuses are the heavy weights that drag you down, the invisible barriers that keep you from stepping into the life you were meant to live. Now, I know some of you have been through a lot. I know life has not been easy. I know you faced setbacks, heartbreaks, disappointments, and maybe even betrayals. I know there were moments you felt like throwing in the towel, moments you wondered why even try. And in those moments, excuses seemed like a comfort, a justification, a way to soften the pain of not moving forward. But let me tell you the truth today, excuses are not protecting you, they are imprisoning you. Every time you say, I'll do it tomorrow, another link is added to the chain. Every time you say, I don't have the resources, the chain tightens. Every time you say, I can't do it alone, you make the chain stronger. And before you know it, you are bound, unable to move, unable to progress, unable to become who you were destined to be. Excuses don't just hold you back once, they create a pattern. Have you noticed that when you excuse yourself from one thing, it becomes easier to excuse yourself from another? Today it's, I'll start my business next year. Next year comes, and it's, I don't have the money. Then it's, I don't have the right connections. Before long, 10 years have passed, and you're still in the same place, still dreaming but never doing. Excuses are deceptive because they make you believe you have a valid reason to remain stuck. But the truth is, if you are looking for a reason not to move forward, you will always find one. Life will always give you an excuse, but you must give yourself a reason to push through. Think about the people you admire, the ones who have built legacies, overcome obstacles, and achieved greatness. Do you think they didn't have reasons to quit? Do you think they didn't face hardship, criticism, or lack of support? The difference between those who succeed and those who remain stagnant is simple. One group broke their chains, and the other kept adding links. Listen to me, you have power. Power to change, power to grow, power to build, power to start again. But excuses steal that power. They tell you that you are a victim of your circumstances. They tell you that your past mistakes define your future. They tell you that you are too late, too old, too broken, too unqualified. And the more you believe those lies, the more powerless you become. The moment you decide, I will no longer let my excuses define me, something shifts. The moment you say, I don't have all the resources, but I'll start with what I have, the chains begin to loosen. The moment you say, I don't have all the answers, but I refuse to stay where I am, you start walking in freedom. Let me tell you a secret, there is always a way. The problem is, as long as you are making excuses, you will never see it. Excuses blind you to opportunities. They keep you focused on what's wrong instead of what's possible. They make you see obstacles instead of solutions. There are people with fewer resources than you who are making it happen. There are people who have been through worse than you who are rebuilding their lives. The difference, they refuse to let excuses keep them from seeing the way forward. If you keep saying, I don't have enough, you'll never recognize what you do have. If you keep saying, I'm not ready, you'll never see that you've been ready all along. If you keep waiting for perfect conditions, you'll wait forever because there is no perfect time, only right now. If you hear nothing else I say today, hear this, you are stronger than your excuses. You are bigger than your past. You are greater than your failures. But you must make a choice. Will you stay bound or will you break free? Breaking free starts with a decision to stop making excuses and start making moves, a decision to stop blaming and start building, a decision to stop wishing and start working. No, it won't be easy. No, it won't happen overnight. Yes, you will have to fight. You will have to push. You will have to face challenges. But I promise you this, it will be worth it, because on the other side of those broken chains is freedom. On the other side is purpose. On the other side is everything you've been praying for, dreaming for, and hoping for, because you were not created to live in chains. You were created to live in victory. Now go break free and build the life you were meant to live. This is a speech designed to ignite action and inspire change. Would you like any refinements or additional elements to it? You are not created to live an ordinary life. You are not designed to blend in, to just go through the motions, or to settle for good enough. There is greatness inside of you, power, potential, purpose, but too many people live below their destiny because they have convinced themselves that they are just like everyone else. I came to wake somebody up today to remind you that you are more than your job, more than your past, more than your struggles, more than what they said about you. You are not average. But let me ask you something. If you are not average, why are you living like you are? Why are you making choices that keep you in the same place? Why are you accepting less when you know deep inside you are made for more? Why are you allowing fear, doubt, and insecurity to keep you from stepping into the life you were meant to live? Let me tell you why. Because society has conditioned you to believe that playing small is safer, that aiming for just enough is wiser, that settling is better than risking failure. They say, don't dream too big, don't expect too much, don't want more out of life. But let me tell you something, average is the enemy of greatness. If you settle for average, you will never tap into the extraordinary potential that God has placed inside of you. Do you know why so many people remain average? Because average is comfortable. Average is predictable. Average doesn't require much effort. It's easy to stay where you are. It's easy to follow the crowd. It's easy to do just enough to get by. But let me ask you, has average ever made anyone legendary? Has average ever changed the world? Has average ever left a mark that could not be erased? No, because average keeps you stagnant. Average keeps you in the same job you hate, in the same toxic relationships, in the same unfulfilling routines. Average says just survive, but you were not made to survive, you were made to thrive. You have to understand that average is a choice. It's a mindset. It's a decision to remain where you are instead of reaching for more. But just as average is a choice, so is greatness. Every day you make decisions that push you toward your destiny or pull you back into mediocrity. You may not see it yet, but there is something inside of you that the world needs. There is a gift, a talent, an ability that was placed in you for a reason. But if you keep living an average life, that gift will never reach its full potential. Think about how many brilliant ideas were buried because someone was too afraid to act. How many dreams never became reality because someone thought they weren't good enough? How many lives could have been changed if someone had just believed in their own greatness? Don't let that be your story. Don't let your potential die inside of you. The world needs what you have. There is someone waiting for your business to be launched, for your book to be written, for your voice to be heard, for your vision to come to life. But it will never happen if you keep living like you are average. One of the biggest reasons people settle for average is because they compare themselves to others. They look at what someone else is doing and say, well, at least I'm doing better than them. But listen, you are not called to live by someone else's standards. You were not created to measure your life by what someone else has or hasn't done. When you compare yourself to others, you shrink your vision. You stop dreaming big because you're too busy trying to fit into someone else's expectations. But you are not them. You have a unique purpose, a unique path, a unique calling. Stop comparing your journey to someone else's and start focusing on what you were meant to do. If you want to break free from an average life, you have to stop worrying about what others think. Stop seeking approval. Stop trying to please people who don't even know your destiny. The only person you need to impress is the one in the mirror. Some people believe they are average because of where they came from. They say, I was born into a struggling family. I didn't get the best education. I don't have the right connections. My past is too messy. But let me tell you, your past does not define your future. It doesn't matter where you came from. What matters is where you're going. Some of the greatest success stories come from people who had nothing. They were told they wouldn't make it. They were counted out, overlooked, rejected. But instead of letting their circumstances define them, they made a decision: I will not be average. And that's the decision you have to make today. No more excuses, no more playing small, no more waiting for permission to be great. You have to take control of your own future. Breaking free from average starts in your mind. You have to change the way you think about yourself. If you see yourself as average, you will act like it. But if you see yourself as powerful, capable, and destined for greatness, you will start moving in a way that reflects that. Now, I don't want you to just feel inspired today. I don't want you to just read these words and say, that was powerful, and then go back to the same old routine. No, I want you to do something with this message. What steps can you take today to break out of an average life? What goals have you been putting off? What dreams have you buried? What excuses have you been making because you were not created to be average? You were created to be extraordinary. You were created to lead, to innovate, to inspire, to impact. The world is waiting for you to step up. The world is waiting for you to stop playing small. The world is waiting for you to break free from average and step into your greatness. So I'll ask you again, are you going to settle, or are you going to rise? Are you going to live a life of mediocrity, or are you going to step into the extraordinary? Are you going to keep making excuses, or are you going to start making moves? If you want to break free from an average life, you have to stop worrying about what others think. Stop seeking approval. Stop trying to please people who don't even know your destiny. The only person you need to impress is the one in the mirror. Some people believe they are average because of where they came from. They say, I was born into a struggling family. I didn't get the best education. I don't have the right connections. My past is too messy. But let me tell you, your past does not define your future. It doesn't matter where you came from. What matters is where you're going. Some of the greatest success stories come from people who had nothing. They were told they wouldn't make it. They were counted out, overlooked, rejected. But instead of letting their circumstances define them, they made a decision: I will not be average. And that's the decision you have to make today. No more excuses, no more playing small, no more waiting for permission to be great. You have to take control of your own future. Breaking free from average starts in your mind. You have to change the way you think about yourself. If you see yourself as average, you will act like it. But if you see yourself as powerful, capable, and destined for greatness, you will start moving in a way that reflects that. No, I don't want you to feel inspired today. I don't want you to just read these words and say, that was powerful, and then go back to the same old routine. No, I want you to do something with this message. What steps can you take today to break out of average life? What goals have you been putting off? What dreams have you buried? What excuses have you been making because you were not created to be average? You were created to be extraordinary. You were created to lead, to innovate, to inspire, to impact. The world is waiting for you to step up. The world is waiting for you to stop playing small. The world is waiting for you to break free from average and step into your greatness. So I'll ask you again, are you going to settle? Or are you going to rise? Are you going to live a life of mediocrity, or are you going to step into the extraordinary? Are you going to keep making excuses, or are you going to start making moves? But hear me when I say this, there is no reward in being average. There is no fulfillment in playing small. There is no legacy in just getting by. So today, make the choice. Choose to rise. Choose to break free. Choose to live boldly, fearlessly, and unapologetically in your greatness. This speech is designed to empower and challenge the listener to rise above mediocrity. Let me know if you'd like to add anything or refine it further. A moment when you must choose whether you will stay trapped in the cycle of yesterday or step boldly into your future. And I came to tell you today, stop blaming the past. The past is done. It is written. It cannot be changed, reversed, or rewritten. But what can be changed is what you do from this moment forward. Too many people are stuck in life, not because they lack talent, intelligence, or opportunity, but because they refuse to let go of what has already happened. They replay their failures like a movie on repeat. They relive the heartbreak, the rejection, the mistakes, the missed chances, and every disappointment as if dwelling on it will somehow fix it. But let me tell you something, you cannot move forward while you're looking backward. You cannot build a future while still carrying the weight of your past. You cannot rise when you are still chained to what hurt you. I don't care what happened back then. I don't care who let you down, who walked away, who betrayed you, who didn't believe in you, or what mistakes you made. That was then. This is now. And the question is, are you going to keep living in the past, or are you going to step into your future? But let me tell you, your past is not your address. It's not where you belong. It's only a place of reference, not a place of residence. You can visit it to learn, but you cannot live there. I know what it's like to have regrets. I know what it's like to wish you had done things differently. But no amount of guilt, shame, or sorrow can change what has already happened. The only thing that can change your life is what you do next. The past was meant to teach you, not define you. The past was meant to develop you, not destroy you. And if you keep blaming it, you will never break free from it. When you blame the past, you give it control over your future. You are telling yourself, I can't move forward because of what happened to me. That's a lie. What happened to you may have been unfair. It may have hurt you deeply, but it does not have the power to stop you unless you let it. You see, blaming is easy. It's easy to say, if my parents had raised me differently, I'd be successful. It's easy to say, if that person hadn't hurt me, I'd be in a better place. It's easy to say, if only I had made a different decision, my life would be perfect. But blaming keeps you stuck. It keeps you bitter. It keeps you in a cycle of resentment and self-pity. And as long as you stay in that cycle, you will never grow. Some people are not just blaming others, they are blaming themselves. They wake up every day carrying the weight of their past choices, the failed relationships, the bad financial decisions, the opportunities they wasted, the dreams they gave up on. And they think, I ruined my chance. I messed up too badly. It's too late for me. But hear me, your mistakes do not define you. What defines you is what you do after the mistake. If mistakes disqualified people from success, nobody would be successful. Every great person has failed. Every great leader has made bad choices. The difference between those who rise and those who stay down is the decision to move forward. So you made a mistake? Learn from it. Grow from it. Let it make you wiser, stronger, more determined. But don't let it chain you. You are more than your worst moment. You are bigger than your biggest failure. And as long as you are breathing, there is still time to rewrite your story. Maybe it's not your mistakes that are holding you back. Maybe it's the pain that someone else caused. The betrayal, the heartbreak, the abandonment, the abuse, the words that were spoken over you that crushed your spirit. And every time you try to move forward, those memories pull you back. I get it. Pain is real. Trauma is real. But if you are not careful, pain can become an identity. It can become a prison that you never escape from. I am not saying that what happened to you wasn't painful. I am not saying that it didn't leave scars. But at some point, you have to decide, will you let the pain define you, or will you let it refine you? You have to stop seeing yourself as a victim of the past. Yes, bad things happen. Yes, life was unfair. But you are still standing. You are still here. And if you are still here, there is still a purpose for your life. Victims stay stuck. Victims wait for someone to rescue them. But victors rise up. Victors take what was meant to break them and turn it into their strength. Victors don't let their past define their future, because your future is waiting. Your dreams are still possible. Your best days are still ahead of you, but you will never reach them if you keep looking back. This speech is designed to challenge and empower the listener to take control of their future by letting go of their past. Let me know if you'd like any refinements or additional elements. And while they wait, time keeps moving. Opportunities keep passing. Dreams stay buried. Life does not pause while you wait for perfection. There is no perfect time. The time is now. How many things have you put off in life because you were waiting for the right time? How many dreams have you let sit on a shelf because you thought you needed more preparation? How many opportunities have you walked away from because you told yourself, not yet, maybe later, maybe next year? I came to tell you today, later is a lie, later is an illusion, later is an excuse. Later is a trick that keeps you in the same place year after year. Let me ask you something. What does the perfect time look like? What exactly are you waiting for? Are you waiting until you have more money? Until you have more confidence? Until you have fewer responsibilities? Until everything feels comfortable? Newsflash, that moment will never come. There will always be something that isn't quite right. There will always be challenges, distractions, and obstacles. If you keep waiting for everything to align perfectly, you will wait forever. Look around. Life is happening right now. The world is moving. Time is ticking. The people who achieve great things are not the ones who wait for the stars to align. They are the ones who step out, take risks, and move forward despite the uncertainty. Do you know why so many people stay stuck? Because they want things to be perfect before they take action. They want to be perfectly prepared, perfectly skilled, perfectly positioned. But perfection is a trap. Perfection will paralyze you. It will keep you planning but never doing. It will keep you rehearsing but never performing. It will keep you dreaming but never building. Successful people are not perfect. They didn't start with all the answers. They didn't wait until they felt 100% ready. They moved forward while they were still figuring things out. Do you know what separates the doers from the dreamers? Action, not perfect plans, not perfect timing, just action. Let's be honest, when people say they're waiting for the right time, what they really mean is, I'm scared. Fear is the real reason people don't move forward. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of looking foolish, fear of making the wrong decision. And instead of facing that fear, they hide behind excuses. They tell themselves, I'll do it when I feel more confident. But confidence doesn't come from waiting, it comes from doing. You don't become confident before you take action. You become confident because you take action. Every step you take, every risk you embrace, every challenge you push through builds you. But none of that happens if you stay in the waiting room of life. Let me remind you of something you don't have forever. Time is the most precious resource you have, and once it's gone, you can't get it back. How many years have you already wasted waiting for the right time? How many dreams have you let slip away because you were too afraid to start? How many opportunities have you let pass because you were waiting for a perfect moment that never came? The longer you wait, the harder it becomes. The more you procrastinate, the more comfortable you become with delay. And before you know it, years have passed, and all you have are regrets. You don't want to look back on your life and realize that you spent more time preparing than actually doing. You don't want to wake up one day and realize that the window of opportunity has closed out. One of the biggest lies people believe is that they need more before they can start. More knowledge, more resources, more experience, more money. But hear me, you don't need more. You need to start with what you have. The most successful people in the world didn't wait until they had everything figured out. They started messy. They started small. They started with nothing but an idea and a willingness to move. Stop waiting until you have all the money. Stop waiting until you have all the answers. Stop waiting until you have the perfect plan. Use what's in your hands right now. Whatever you have, start with that. If all you have is an idea, write it down. If all you have is a small skill, use it. If all you have is a little time, invest it, but don't just sit there doing nothing. You don't have to take a giant leap all at once, but you do have to take a step. One step, then another, and another. The problem is, most people think success happens overnight. They think people just wake up one day with their dreams fulfilled, but that's not how it works. Success is built brick by brick, step by step, decision by decision. Stop worrying about how long it will take. Stop worrying about how far you have to go. Just focus on making progress. Small steps taken consistently will get you further than waiting for the perfect time ever will. If you're still waiting, if you're still making excuses, if you're still telling yourself not yet, I need you to understand something. Every excuse you make is a delay on your destiny. Every time you say, I'll start tomorrow, you are robbing yourself of what could have happened today. Every time you say, I'm not ready yet, you are stealing from your own future. If you want to change your life, kill the excuses. Stop waiting for perfect conditions. Stop waiting for permission. Stop waiting for more confidence. The only thing standing between you and your dreams is action. Imagine your future self looking back on today. What would they say to you? Would they thank you for taking action, for being bold, for stepping forward even when you weren't sure? Or would they shake their head in regret, knowing that you wasted precious time? Because if you don't start today, when will you? If you don't take action now, how much longer will you let your dreams sit on the shelf? The time to act is no. The time to move is no. The time to step into your purpose is no. Too many people sit on the sidelines of life, waiting for the right opportunity, the right resources, the right connections, the right time. They look at what they don't have and tell themselves, I can't start because I'm missing something. Stop looking at what you lack and start looking at what you have. Stop making excuses about what you don't possess and start using what's already in your hands. The key to your next level, the breakthrough you've been waiting for, the success you dream of it, all starts with what you have right now, dot. And because they think they're lacking, they never move. They spend their time complaining about what they don't have instead of using what they do have. But let me tell you something, you will never have everything lined up perfectly. If you're waiting for the perfect moment where you have all the money, all the knowledge, all the support, and all the confidence, you will wait forever. Look around you. You have something. You have an idea, a skill, a talent, a resource, a passion, a story. And if you would just take what you have and start using it, doors would begin to open. In the Bible, when Moses was afraid to lead the people of Israel out of Egypt, God asked him one simple question, what is in your hand? Moses had a staff, an ordinary piece of wood, but that staff became the instrument for miracles. What is in your hand? What do you already have that you've been overlooking? Maybe it's a skill you've never taken seriously. Maybe it's an idea you've been afraid to act on. Maybe it's the ability to connect with people, the ability to teach, the ability to create, or the ability to lead. Stop underestimating what you have. Stop thinking it's not enough. Because what you have is exactly what you need to take the first step. Some of the most successful people in the world started with almost nothing. They didn't have millions of dollars. They didn't have a big team. They didn't have a perfect plan. Steve Jobs started Apple in a garage. Oprah Winfrey started with nothing but a dream and a voice. Tyler Perry was homeless before he built his empire. J.K. Rowling wrote Harry Potter while struggling as a single mother. They used what they had. They didn't wait until conditions were perfect. They didn't let their limitations stop them. They took what was in their hands and worked with it. The problem isn't that you don't have enough, it's that you're not using what you have. Too many people are waiting for more before they move. They think if they just had more money, more time, more education, or more support, then they could begin. The people who are successful today didn't start with more, they started with less than what you have right now. They had doubts, they had struggles, they had moments of failure, but they didn't let that stop them. If you want to be a writer, start writing with whatever tools you have. If you want to start a business, use whatever resources are available to you. If you want to make a difference, start where you are with what you've got. Stop waiting for more and start doing more with what you have. Do you think one day you'll wake up and suddenly feel confident, prepared, and fearless? It doesn't work that way. Nobody feels fully ready when they start. The readiness comes in the process. You become ready by doing. You grow as you go. You learn as you move. But none of that happens if you stay stuck in the waiting room of life. Let me tell you something, your obstacles are not stopping you, your excuses are. Some of the greatest success stories in history were written by people who faced unbelievable odds. But instead of letting those obstacles break them, they used them as fuel. If you grew up in poverty, use it as motivation to build wealth. If you were overlooked, use it as fuel to prove your worth. If people doubted you, use it as inspiration to show them what you can do. Your challenges are not the end of your story, they are the beginning, dot. You may not have a lot right now, but what you have is enough to start. Use it, maximize it, stretch it, work it. And as you use what you have, more will come. If you only have one client, serve them like they're your best. If you only have a small platform, give it your best effort. If you only have a small opportunity, treat it like it's the biggest one in the world. Because when you are faithful with little, greater things will come. One of the biggest reasons people fail to use what they have is because they compare themselves to others. They see people who are already successful and feel discouraged. But hear me, stop comparing your beginning to someone else's middle. You don't know what they had to go through to get there. You don't know the struggles, the failures, and the sacrifices behind their success. You have something special inside you, a talent, a gift, a unique ability that the world needs. But if you never use it, you will never see where it can take you. Your gift will open doors for you, but only if you use it. Your talent will make room for you, but only if you develop it. Your potential is limitless, but only if you stop making excuses and start walking in it. No more waiting, no more excuses. No more complaining about what you don't have. Look at your hands. Look at your life. Everything you need to start is already with you. Stop waiting for perfect conditions. Stop waiting for permission. Stop waiting for more. Take what you have and use it. Your future is waiting. Use what you have and go make it happen. It's a word that too many people fear. A word that stops people in their tracks, makes them retreat, makes them give up before they even begin. But let me tell you something, failure is not the enemy. Failure is a teacher. Failure is a lesson. Failure is the doorway to success. Every great person who has ever achieved anything worthwhile has failed. Not once, not twice, but over and over again. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't is simple. The successful ones learn from their failures, while the others let failure defeat them. I came to tell you to don't fear failure, embrace it. Don't run from it, study it. Don't let it stop you, let it strengthen you. Because every failure is packed with wisdom, every setback contains a strategy, and every mistake is an opportunity to grow. So many people treat failure like a final destination. They think if I fail, it's over. If I fail, I wasn't meant to do this. If I fail, I should quit. But failure is not the end of the road, it's the beginning of something greater. Every time you fail, you learn something new. You learn what doesn't work. You learn how to adjust. You learn how to think differently. Every failure refines you, sharpens you, and prepares you for what's coming next. Think about a child learning to walk. They stumble, they fall, they hit the ground over and over. But do they give up? No, they get back up, they try again, and eventually they walk. And after they walk, they run. You are no different. Failure is just part of the process. If you don't fall, you don't learn balance. If you don't stumble, you don't learn how to move forward with strength. Every failure is training you for success. When you look at the most successful people in the world, you might think they have it all figured out. But do you know what they all have in common? They have failed more times than most people have even tried. Thomas Edison failed over 1,000 times before he successfully invented the light bulb. When asked about his failures, he said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." Walt Disney was fired from his first job because he was told he lacked creativity. Later, his first animation company went bankrupt, but he didn't let failure stop him. He learned, he adjusted, and he built an empire. Michael Jordan was cut from his high school basketball team. Imagine if he had given up after that failure. Instead, he used it as fuel to become one of the greatest athletes in history. If these legends had given up after failing, the world would be missing some of its greatest innovations, businesses, and inspirations. You can read books, take courses, and listen to advice, but nothing will teach you the way failure does. Failure gives you real-world experience. It teaches you lessons that no classroom ever could. When you fail in business, you learn what not to do next time. When you fail in relationships, you learn how to communicate better, how to choose better, and how to grow. When you fail at a skill, you learn the areas where you need improvement. Failure is a mirror. It shows you exactly where you need to grow. It humbles you, challenges you, and forces you to develop new strategies. If you never failed, you would never learn. There's something powerful about people who have failed and kept going. They become unstoppable. They develop a toughness, a grit, a strength that only comes through struggle. When you fail and get back up, you prove to yourself that failure doesn't define you. You prove that setbacks can't stop you. You prove that no matter what happens, you will keep moving forward. Think about it. If you never faced failure, how would you ever develop perseverance? How would you ever learn to push through obstacles? How would you ever discover just how strong you really are? Every failure you overcome makes you stronger. Every time you get back up, you become wiser. Every time you learn from your mistakes, you become more powerful. Failure has a way of separating people. It reveals who is truly committed and who is only interested. Some people experience failure and quit. They say, "Well, I guess this wasn't meant for me." They walk away defeated. But others experience failure and use it as fuel. They say, "Okay, that didn't work, so what's next? How can I adjust? How can I come back stronger?" The difference between success and failure isn't talent. It isn't luck. It's persistence. It's the ability to take a hit, learn from it, and keep moving forward. If you want to achieve great things, you have to decide right now, I will not let failure stop me. I will learn from every mistake, and I will come back stronger every time. One of the biggest reasons people never reach their potential is because they're too afraid to fail. They don't even try because they're worried about looking foolish, about what others will say about making mistakes. Because if you never try, you've already failed. If you let fear stop you, you've already lost. The only real failure is not trying. Listen to me, failure is temporary. The pain of failing, the embarrassment, the frustration, it all fades. But regret lasts forever. You do not want to reach the end of your life and wonder, what if? You don't want to look back and realize that fear of failure kept you from chasing your dreams. If you try and fail, at least you lived. At least you learned. At least you gave yourself a chance. But if you never try, you will carry that regret with you forever. So what do you do when you fail? You learn from it. You grow from it. You use it as fuel. The only way failure defeats you is if you refuse to learn from it. But if you take the lessons, if you make the adjustments, if you keep moving forward, then failure becomes your greatest weapon. Failing does not make you a failure. The only way you become a failure is if you quit. As long as you keep going, as long as you keep trying, as long as you keep learning, you are winning, so don't let failure break you. Let it build you. Let it refine you. Let it strengthen you, because every failure is just another step toward success. And as long as you keep stepping, you will get there. Too many people are walking through life carrying unnecessary baggage, pain from the past, fear of the future, guilt, doubt, and toxic relationships. They hold on to what no longer serves them, dragging dead weight that slows them down, keeps them stuck, and prevents them from stepping into the fullness of their destiny. You can't soar if you're chained to the past. You can't move forward if you're gripping what's behind you. You can't step into the next level of your life if your hands are full of yesterday's burdens. You were not created to live in bondage to what no longer serves you. You were not meant to be weighed down by regrets, pain, fear, or other people's expectations. It's time to release what's holding you back. Letting go is one of the hardest things to do. Why? Because we cling to what's familiar, even when it hurts us. We hold on to things that no longer serve us because we're afraid of what life will look like without them. We stay in toxic relationships because we fear being alone. We hold on to guilt and shame because we think we don't deserve forgiveness. We refuse to let go of past failures because we believe they define us. We grip tightly to comfort zones because we are afraid of stepping into the unknown. But hear me, what you refuse to release will keep you trapped. The longer you hold on to what's holding you back, the longer you delay your destiny. Imagine trying to run a race while carrying a heavy backpack. It doesn't matter how strong or fast you are, the weight will slow you down. Now imagine dropping that backpack. Imagine how free, how light, how fast you would move forward. That's what happens when you let go. You free yourself, you unlock doors. You open the path to new opportunities, new blessings, and a new level of life. One of the biggest things holding people back is unhealed pain. People walk through life carrying wounds from childhood, betrayal from past relationships, disappointments from people they trusted. And instead of healing, they hold on to the pain like a badge of honor. They replay past hurts in their minds. They allow bitterness to take root in their hearts. They refuse to forgive because they think holding on gives them power. But listen, holding on to pain only hurts you. It doesn't hurt the people who wronged you. It doesn't fix the past. It doesn't make you stronger. It just keeps you in bondage. Forgiveness is not about saying what happened was okay. It's about setting yourself free. It's about deciding that the past no longer controls your future. It's about choosing peace over pain, healing over hurt, and freedom over bitterness. If you want to move forward, you have to release the pain. You cannot build a new future while holding on to old wounds. Fear is another chain that keeps people bound. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of stepping outside of what's familiar. How many times have you wanted to pursue a dream, but fear whispered, what if you fail? How many times have you hesitated to take a leap because fear said, you're not good enough or people will judge you? Fear is a liar. It will keep you small, keep you stuck, and keep you from becoming everything you were meant to be. Fear will tell you not to start the business because it might fail. Fear will tell you not to leave the toxic relationship because no one else will love you. Fear will tell you not to chase your dreams because you're not talented enough. But hear me, fear only has power if you listen to it. When you stop giving it control, you take back your life. The truth is, everything you want is on the other side of fear. Growth happens outside your comfort zone. Breakthrough happens when you step into the unknown. Transformation happens when you stop allowing fear to dictate your choices. Some of you are walking through life with chains of self-doubt. You second-guess yourself. You shrink back when opportunities arise. You don't believe you're worthy, so you settle for less than what you deserve. Maybe someone told you that you weren't good enough and you believed them. Maybe life has knocked you down so many times that you stopped believing in yourself. Maybe you failed before and now you're afraid to try again. But let me remind you, you were created for greatness. You are not an accident. You are not a mistake. You have gifts, talents, and purpose for a side of you. And if you don't believe in yourself, you will always live beneath your potential. Stop doubting yourself. Stop talking yourself out of opportunities. Stop letting fear of failure keep you from trying. You are more capable than you think. Some people are in your life for a season, and when that season is over, you have to release them. If someone is constantly pulling you down, doubting your dreams, or keeping you in a toxic cycle, it's time to release them. You cannot become who you were meant to be if you are surrounded by people who are keeping you stuck, and while you sit making excuses, other people are out there making things happen. The truth is, you don't need perfect conditions to start. You don't need all the answers. You don't need more time, more money, or more resources. Let go of the excuses. Let go of the limiting beliefs. Let go of waiting for the perfect moment. The perfect moment is no. There's power in release. There's freedom in letting go. When you finally let go of what's holding you back, you step into a new level of life. When you let go of pain, you step into healing. When you let go of fear, you step into courage. When you let go of self-doubt, you step into confidence. When you let go of toxic people, you make room for the right ones. It's time to release. It's time to move forward. It's time to step into the fullness of who you were created to be. You can either stay stuck in the past or step into your future. You can either cling to what's holding you back or embrace what's waiting ahead. Make the choice to let go. Make the choice to move forward. Make the choice to walk boldly into your destiny. Because the life you've been dreaming of, it's on the other side of release that they feel like they don't have enough talent, enough resources, enough knowledge, enough support. They look at their circumstances and think, if only I had more, then I could succeed. If only I had the right connections, the right opportunities, the right background, then I could achieve my dreams. But I came to tell you today, God has already given you everything you need. You are not lacking. You are not missing anything. You are not incomplete. Everything you need to fulfill your destiny is already inside you. God didn't make a mistake when He created you. He didn't leave you empty-handed. He didn't send you into this world without equipping you for your purpose. Before you were even born, He placed inside you the gifts, the strength, and the ability to accomplish what you were created to do. One of the greatest lies the enemy will try to convince you of is that you are not enough, that you are missing something, that you are unqualified, that you need something outside of yourself in order to succeed. But the truth is, God does not call the qualified, He qualifies the called. If He gave you the vision, He also gave you the ability to bring it to life. If He placed a dream in your heart, He also gave you the tools to achieve it. Think about Moses. When God called him to lead the Israelites out of Egypt, Moses tried to argue. He said, I'm not a good speaker. I'm not qualified. I can't do this. But God didn't ask Moses to be perfect. He asked him to be obedient. And when Moses finally trusted God, he saw miracles. What if Moses had let his excuses stop him? What if he had refused to believe that God had given him everything he needed? He would have never walked in his destiny. Don't let self-doubt talk you out of what God has called you to do. You are equipped. You are ready. You are enough. Every single person has been given gifts. Some have the gift of leadership. Some have the gift of creativity. Some have the gift of speaking, of encouraging, of building, of teaching. Your gifts may not look like someone else's, and that's okay. You were not created to be like everyone else. You were created to be uniquely you. But here's the key: you have to use your gifts. Too many people bury their gifts. They ignore them. They let fear stop them from stepping out. They compare themselves to others and decide their gifts aren't good enough. But hear me, God didn't give you gifts for you to waste them. One of the biggest mistakes people make is waiting for more. They think they need more money, more education, more connections, more resources before they can start. Look at the story of the widow in 2 Kings 4. She was in debt, and all she had was a small jar of oil. But when she brought what she had to God, he multiplied it. The oil kept flowing, and she had more than enough. God isn't asking you for what you don't have. He's asking you to use what you do have. Stop waiting for the perfect conditions. Stop waiting for the right moment. Start where you are. Use what's in your hands. How many times have you talked yourself out of something because you thought you weren't strong enough? How many times have you let fear convince you that you don't have what it takes? You are stronger than you think. You have endured things that should have broken you, but you're still standing. You have survived storms that were meant to take you out, but you're still here. You were not put on this earth to just exist. You were not created to just survive, go through the motions, and live a small life. You were created for a purpose. There is a reason you are here. There is something inside you that the world needs. There is a destiny that only you can fulfill, but you have to choose to walk in it. God will not force you to step into your purpose. You have to take the first step. Start moving. Start believing. Start walking by faith, because your purpose is waiting for you. Faith is the key that unlocks everything God has for you. Faith moves mountains. Faith opens doors. Faith makes the impossible possible, but too many people let fear outweigh their faith. They let doubt talk them out of stepping forward. They let their circumstances convince them that nothing will change. You may not see the way, but believe that God will make one. You may not see the resources, but believe that God will provide. You may not see the opportunity, but believe that God is working behind the scenes. Faith is trusting that God has already given you everything you need. Faith is stepping out even when you're scared. Faith is believing that if God called you, he will make a way. God has already equipped you. He has already strengthened you. He has already placed everything you need inside you. Will you walk in your gifts? Will you stop doubting yourself? Will you stop waiting for perfect conditions? Will you step out in faith? Because everything you need is already yours. The only thing left to do is step into it. No more waiting, no more excuses, no more hesitation. God has given you everything you need. Now go and use it.